Hello everybody. It is Rachel back with another tutorial for you. So this is our final special block in the Tumbling Cosmos. So there are 3 special blocks that are besides the actual tumbling block. And I did a video earlier on the first 2, and this is going to be the final one. This one is called the star blocks, which obviously because it forms a star. So we have already wrapped our papers, and if you want to see how I did that, just check out some of my other videos so you can see how I did the tails and everything for that. And we're going to go ahead and stitch this together. It should be fairly simple. So I'm going to match my center star with my fabric because it's going to be dark on dark. I'm going to actually stitch 3 diamonds together to form half the star. So these 3 are going to get stitched together. I'm going to go down and up with that dark purple fabric. Then I'm going to stitch this side together, down and up, and then I will stitch up the middle, and that'll form our star. Once we have that all done, I'll use my lighter thread to go ahead and stitch in these side diamonds to finish the hexagon shape. And I should be able to travel with my thread around pretty far, probably about halfway, and then start over again. So I am going to go ahead and get started with that. So let's see. Actually, I didn't thread anything. So I haven't even started this thread before. All right, so we'll go ahead and thread our needle. So when you have thread that is wound crisscrossed, you want to pull your thread off sideways, and that'll help it not tangle when you're actually sewing. You want to pull off about from your hand to your elbow length, and even a little shorter is better. Shorter is always better when you're doing English paper piecing, because even though it seems like you'd want a nice long thread so that you don't have to keep cutting new threads and re-threading your needle, it does wear down over time, so you don't want to keep too long of a thread on your needle. Then you want to take the end that you did not cut, so the end that you cut off the roll is not the end you thread through the needle. You thread the end that you did not cut, the starting end, through the needle, and you want to leave a big long tail. So I don't double up my thread when I stitch, I just do a single thread when I stitch, but I do leave a big long tail so that my thread is not too long as I'm stitching, and then as I go I'll pull my tail with it as I need to. And that also helps me not break my thread because I'm not keeping my thread in one spot the whole time. It's constantly moving as I need more thread. So I always put down my pattern so I know exactly how I'm going to stitch it. So I leave this here as I go so that nothing gets stitched incorrectly, hopefully. And then I just pick up the pieces as I need them to stitch them together. So we'll start with these 2 diamonds. They're pretty easy to line up because they're the exact same shape. So you just want to make sure all the edges line up. And then we'll use our magnet to hold them together. And I'm going to go from the middle to the bottom so that I can then go up from the bottom to the middle on the next piece. So I will go ahead and get started with that and show you where we get. So I have stitched together the two sides, and I just wanted to show you. So this one is maybe like at most a smidgen off. I don't even know if you can see it, but that's fine. It's pretty straight. I'm going to leave that as is. This one, however, if you can see this side, is way off. I don't know what I was doing. So I need to decide if I want to move this one down or this one up. So one of them's going to come off and one's going to get moved down. So I think let's see which feels more straight. All right, so I think I'm going to move this side up. So I'm going to unstitch that. I don't have a seam ripper, so I usually just use my scissors, but this is exactly why we knot at the end of every row. So unstitching this is not going to affect this at all because I knotted. Hopefully. There we go. So let's see if my theory is correct. And if I have to redo them both, then I do. So be it. Come on, one more stitch. Oh, that's still pretty sturdy. All right, so that's not going to be a problem. All right, so I just want to pull out the little threads so it's nice and clean, and I will go ahead and try restitching that. So I redid this side, and one of them is still a little bit high, but it's not too bad, so I think I'm just going to go with it. It means my center will be a little bit off, but actually this side's a little high and this side's a little high, so they end up matching up. So it is what it is. You know, there's only so many times that you can redo things, and I'm certainly not going to redo it another time. So we will just leave it alone and just stitch these two sides together. And once the entire quilt is done, no one will ever even know that these were off. So like I said, I only redo it if it is totally glaringly hugely off, which the first time it really was. These ones are not that bad, so we are just going to leave them and stitch these two together. So I will go ahead and get that stitched. Okay, so we have our center all stitched together. And like I said, you can see that middle is a little bit off, but I'm not concerned about it. In the grand scheme of things, it's not going to matter. And you can see the way we basted our tails. Looks really nice on the back. You got a cute little rosette back there, so that'll lay nice and flat in the quilt. So our next step is going to be piecing in each of these diamonds around the sides. Pretty straightforward. Your tails go both ways, so you can't do them upside down. So we're just gonna lay it flat like this, stitch across, and just try to get as many on one thread as we can. Again, not at the very beginning of the thread, not at the end of each line. So if I have to unsew, it'll be easy to do that. And just check them as you go, make sure it all lines up nicely, so that way if you do have to unsew, you can figure it out fairly quickly without having to go back and do it once everything's done. So we'll go ahead and get started on doing these and then show you the final piece at the end. Okay, so we are all done with this block. Nice pretty one. So it came together fairly easily. Just, you know, like I said, do each side of your star, down and up, and then stitch down the middle. That'll get you your sharpest point in the middle. And then you're gonna set in each diamond around the side and it should come out perfectly. So hopefully this tutorial helped you. As always, if you subscribe to my channel, you'll get alerted by YouTube when I do post new videos. And in the comments below, let me know if you have any questions or comments or anything like that, how you're progressing on this quilt, and we will see you in the next video. Thanks, everybody.